Hello, I'm Greg Barron, and I would like to welcome you to episode 11 of the Follow the Leader video podcast. Today's episode is titled Answer Criticism with Accomplishment. Answer criticism with accomplishment. No matter what we attempt in life, for what reason, whether it's private or personal, because we have to interact with other people in our lives, no matter what we're attempting to do or attempting to hide that we are doing, people are going to comment. People are going to criticize. They're going to express their opinion about the way you work, the way you live, what they think you should do, what they think you should not do. This kind of criticism can be difficult to take. It certainly was for me at a younger age. But I've learned to understand the sources of criticism across my long years of living. And so I'm a little more generous toward people who express their opinions about me. But I understand that for younger people, it can be a little more difficult. So that's the reason why I'm covering this topic today. People often seek to have a response to criticism. Well, if they say anything to me, I'm going to say something back. Or, well, if they say something to me, I'm going to put them in their place. I'm going to set them straight. Well, sometimes this can be necessary. But what do you profit from that? What do you gain from that? Some people say satisfaction. And I understand that, but when in the long run, that really adds up to be nothing. What you should be looking to gain from each encounter is an opportunity to learn and get better. So, how do we learn and get better from each piece of commentary, criticism, or questioning that we receive? The first step is to understand the source. There are some people whose criticism really doesn't matter because they really don't have your best interests at heart. You can ignore these people. But there are some people who have proven themselves in your life to be someone who genuinely cares about you. It can be an educator. It could be a parent. It could be a friend of the family. It could be one of your friends. So you have to learn to listen, and you have to learn to really hear what is being said in each comment, each piece of criticism, or each question that is being asked. Now, I would never tell you to do anything that I did not have to do myself. Yes, I had to learn to step back, take my feelings out of it. That's some of the best advice I ever got. A consultant, older man that I worked with in a big group in Atlanta on a big project, he would always say, we would sit down with the clients we were working with, and they were some emotional people. And he would always raise his hand and say, whoa, let first thing we need to do, let's take the emotion out of this now. This is not about you. This is about the task at hand. So everybody be cool, take a deep breath, do what you need to do. But let's put down the emotion for a second, and let's look at the facts. Okay. So when people comment on your life and work, when they criticize your intentions or your plans, where they question whether or not you are doing the right thing, the first thing you need to do is look at the facts of the situation. If they don't know what they're talking about, you can move on. They may not. They may be speaking purely from emotion themselves. And you need to placate the important people. If this is your mama, okay. If this is your pastor, if this is one of your teachers, these are people, if there's somebody you work for, some people that are going to be important to you down the road, then you need to handle them lightly. You need to be polite. You need to be respectful. And you need to step back and you need to think about what they're saying. There may be valid things that they're offering to you, an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to think about things differently, think about something new that may not have occurred to you. So don't get defensive every time somebody says something. That's the first thing that happens. That's how we're programmed. That's how we're wired. Somebody questions something, especially if it's something important to us, or if we think we've got it going good, and somebody comes and says, "Hey, have you ever considered doing something a little bit different?" The first thing that happens, our hackles rise up, our nose hairs flare, everything, and you need to calm that down. You have to hold that back. Your animal response is not the response that needs to run everything. Use your mind. Your emotions are great, but you should control your emotions with what you know. What do you know about the person who is bringing this to you? Well, you might think, well, Greg has always tried to help me in the past, so maybe what he's saying, even though I don't really agree with it or understand it, maybe I should look at it. And you don't have to say that to Greg, but maybe that's something you should do. So you don't have to bow down to anybody, but you do need to step back, take a look at the issue, take a look at what's being discussed. There may be something of value there, some nugget of wisdom that could help you. Because that's what most people in your life, unless you're just running into a bunch of strangers every day, most people in your life want you to be successful. But they have different opinions and viewpoints about life and experiences than you do. Perhaps you can benefit from these. That's the whole point of engaging with coaches and consultants. The idea is that they have a collection of experiences and education, and they have done certain things that you may not have had the opportunity to do, or you may not have done it from their viewpoint. And so perhaps you can benefit from the information that they're attempting to bring you. So I had to step back myself in my life and take a look at what I'm doing now. Am I doing this the right way? Am I headed in the right direction? What do I need to change? Because there's always something worth changing, because change is part of opportunity. When opportunities arise, we have to change in order to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. Nobody's life is static. Nobody's life remains the same. So as your life changes, as your relationships change, as situations change in front of you and around you, opportunities will arise. And so, what do you do next? Well, you answer criticism with accomplishment. What does that mean? In order to accomplish something, there are going to be little itty-bitty steps you need to take to head in the direction of accomplishment. First, you must find out what does that mean? Somebody comes to you and says, it'd probably be better if you change your major to something a little more business-oriented, because you seem to be headed in that direction anyway. Well, okay, you may not know what majors are out there. So you go look and see. 5 or 6, maybe 3 or 4. And you say, I don't like that. I know I wouldn't like that. But maybe this one or these 2. I should look into these more deeply and gather information. So you do that. And once you do that, then you say, okay, well, what classes do I already have that fit into that major? Is this a good move for me, or would I just be wasting a whole bunch of credits? So you decide what is, the benefit, what's the cost, what's the benefit? And if the benefit is much greater than the cost, then you know what you need to do next. And so I use this as an example of how you find out about the accomplishment. And then you find out, what direction do I need to head in? What steps do I need to take to head to that accomplishment? Okay. And then you start on that journey. And it may be a short journey or it may be a long journey. But somebody said something that you weren't thinking about that gave you an opportunity to gain more.
Call, potential spam.
Hold on. Button. I apologize for that, but I'm too into this topic to start over. Now, once you actually get into the idea of what you need to do next, then you're on your way. So, accomplishment. We set off to try and, this is what they said. This is what they told me. This is what they have brought to me. Forgive me again for this interruption. I apologize. But I'm going to go on with this. Accomplishment is the most positive way to respond to criticism. I hope I'm still in the camera frame since I had to move. But now look now, y'all dealt with the blind man before. You know these are the struggles of the poor blind man who is trying to help people. So bear with me. Keep paying attention. Accomplishment is how you respond to criticism. You respond by making sure that you take steps to either correct or respond to what you learned from the criticism. If you didn't learn anything from the criticism, if you judge it to be not of value, and that's your decision to make, then you can step over it and move on. Be polite to the people who spoke to you. Be friendly. There's no need to be rude. They may have meant the very best for you, even if the information they brought you was completely worthless. So you move on. But if you learn something from it, if you gain something from it, then you apply that to your direction, your activities. And so, what have you become? What have you gained? An opportunity to do more, to be more, to have more, to make more things happen. That's what our interactions with people can do for us. If we handle them the right way, and if we make these interactions with the right people, it can prove to be, it's more effective than looking things up online. People can sometimes guide you to the right place in their lives that made the difference for them. They said, this is what you're trying to do? Well, let me tell you how that worked out for me. Or let me tell you what I had to do to make a similar situation work out. Or this is what my brother had to do. Or you see, there's a wealth of knowledge out there if you pick the right people to associate yourself with and connect yourself with. So, what do we do next? We prepare ourselves for the comments, the criticism, and the questions that are going to come about the way we live our lives, the way we do our business, the way we conduct ourselves. And there's always an opportunity to learn from these things if we have surrounded ourselves with the right people, if we have put ourselves in touch with people that genuinely care about us or that genuinely have something to offer that is positive. You understand? You can hang around any bunch of people that are going to be negative, and this is of no worth to you. You need people that are going to balance that out, people that have a genuine interest in helping other people, people who just aren't standing around looking to shoot people down because they're not doing anything themselves. You need to move on from that. If that's all you've surrounded yourself with, you can do better than that. We all can. So, you understand that there's different kinds of criticism. There's some positive, some negative, and even positive criticism. Some of it will be of use to you, and some of it will not. And so you have to learn to be discerning, that's a church word, and judicious, that's a legal word, in how you separate yourself between what has value and what does not. And you can do that. You can learn to do that if you don't know how to do it. And Greg can help you learn how to do that. I'm here to help you separate and sift through the criticism you receive and the information that comes in and help you apply it to your education, to your business, to your life. So, the way to reach out to me is through my foundation, the Gregory A. Barron Foundation, Incorporated. The email address is GABFINC@AOL.com. That's an email address that you can say gabfink@aol.com, if that helps you remember it better. Those of you that have reached out to me, the conversations are getting better every day, little by little. People don't open up quickly. I understand that. But remember that whatever you say to me will be held confidential and private. And we will move on to different forms of communicating if we judge that it's necessary, that the conversation seems to be going somewhere. Does that sound good? If it does, don't hesitate to reach out to me, please. I'm here to help. I want to help you turn that big bucket of criticism you've received lately into a path to accomplishment, a path to what you should do to settle that criticism for yourself. You're not doing it to settle the criticism with other people. Let them think what they want to. What's important is what you think, what you believe about what you are doing. Remember that. This is not about making other people feel good about what you do. You have the answer. The criticism may ring in your own mind. So you should settle it for yourself so that you can move on and continue to be successful. So don't be afraid to take the chance to make that happen. As always, I'm here and standing at the ready to help anybody who makes a request. I want to thank you for listening to episode 11 of the Follow the Leader video podcast. Watching and listening to episode 11 of the Follow the Leader video podcast. As always, I am Greg Barron. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Viewfinder. Stop recording.